Our commencement speaker today is Paula Whitbrot. Originally from Auburn, Michigan, Paula currently lives and works in New York City. She graduated from Michigan Tech in 1993 with a degree in chemical engineering and earned her MBA from Columbia Business School in 1999. She leads international business development and serves as Vice President, International Business Development and Chief of Staff to the Group President International at Estee Lauder Companies. Her career has included positions at Amway, A.T. Kearney, Avon Products, where she held multiple positions over a 7-year span, including Global Lead for Sales and Operations Planning. As a student, Paula was actively involved in the Michigan Tech Student Foundation, Senior Class Council, American Institute of Chemical Engineers, Delta Phi Epsilon sorority, and intramural sports. She was also a Winter Carnival Queen candidate and was named Miss Congeniality. Ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor to introduce to you Paula Whitbrot. Welcome home, Paula.
Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you, President Mraz, for inviting me to speak on this fabulous occasion. I'm so happy to celebrate with all of you. And congratulations to you, David, on your many achievements at Michigan Tech. I would also like to thank the faculty and staff and friends and families of the graduates today. And thank you for being part of their journey along the way. Your support and encouragement made this possible. With Michigan Tech having one of the highest starting salaries in the country and job placement rates, the graduates here are positioned well for success, which means your parents should be especially happy to see you off on your own and financially supporting yourselves. But you knew that would happen. Before I forget, I must thank my mom, sister, niece, and brother-in-law for coming to support me today. The family's all in the back corner over there. And my younger brother is here for the first time since he graduated from Tech after me. Welcome back, Mark. And though my dad and friends and friends and family couldn't be here, including a good friend, Pam from Tech, they're likely watching the live stream and cheering me on, so I want to say thank you to them too. And Laura and Hazi, two of my very dear friends, are also up there. It's really nice to be back together. It feels like old times. Important to note, Laura was the one who presented the senior class gift with me at our commencement, which surpassed all other classes in the amount that we raised and still holds the record. They stopped in '96. Although you stopped this tradition, I would still challenge all of you to find some way to give back to the Michigan Tech Fund in the near future. And Paula Nutini and Les Cook, you can thank me later for the little ad. And one enormous note of appreciation to Ron Hellman, AKA Uncle Ron, who was an amazing mentor to me and the whole MTSF community. Along with former President Tompkins, they supported me as I was pursuing my MBA and my dreams. They both wrote recommendations for me. I'm so happy that Uncle Ron and his wife Lou are here today, and their grandson is in the graduating class. Can you believe it's Ron's 82nd consecutive commencement, which is 80 more than I've been to. I just want to say, Uncle Ron, you've been so supportive of Tech and its students. I want to thank you on behalf of all of us. Now, right up front, I must share, while that I'm very honored to be asked to speak today, my initial reaction to this request was one of terror. Although I used to stand up in this very stadium and unabashedly belt out the national anthem at our hockey games, I find speaking in front of this crowd of very smart and eager students, your families and friends, and the faculty and staff, definitely outside my comfort zone. But I look at it this way: it's good to continue to challenge ourselves, and the best opportunities in life still come when we step outside that zone. Each daunting experience confronted will boost your confidence. At least, that's what I'm telling myself today. So to keep returning to a school says a lot about it. I loved Michigan Tech and always find the time to come back for reunions, and of course to support President Mraz with the Presidential Council of Alumni. I enjoy staying connected to the university and its students, and have even started a scholarship with our sorority alumni as our way to continue to support female students on campus. It's a unique place, and I believe Michigan Tech attracts a distinct type of person: grounded, brainy, hardworking, and fun. And so impressive are all of you that Estee Lauder has now taken on an intern from here to work with us in New York for the first time. Of course, there were other reasons I loved our school. Semi-isolated as we were during dark and cold winters, we partied a lot. My parents to this day still assume I was studying because I was always in the library. But since this was before cell phones, laptops, iPads, and Facebook, communication with parents was on a need-to-know basis. But seriously, thank goodness there was no Facebook and no proof. I do have fond memories of broomball, intramural hockey and volleyball, Michigan Tech Student Foundation events, senior bar nights, homecoming parades, dinners at the president's house, sorority events, and of course, Winter Carnival. Some of these may have helped my leadership skills more than others, but they were all certainly fun. Now, I was hopeful that the 300 inches of snow I remember would have melted at this point. You can imagine my surprise when I arrived at the Hancock Airport, only to see snow on the ground and get into a frozen vehicle with no scraper. These are the things that I don't miss as much. But back to why you invited me to speak today, and it's time to get a little more serious because I do have some thoughts to share, and I hope that some of these will resonate. Now, if you've had a chance to glance at my bio, you'll see that I've gone from Amway to Estee Lauder with a few stops in between. It's an interesting path for someone with a bachelor's of science in chemical engineering, but it worked for me, especially in a world where good skills are transferable. So my first message, and don't panic, there's only a few, it's to pick a career path that makes sense for you. Don't pick one because your best friend is choosing it or to please someone else. You have to do the work, and we all thrive in roles that leverage our strengths. For me, that's working internationally and as part of global teams. My dad tells me that when I was 7, sitting at the dinner table, I proclaimed I wanted to travel around the world, and that's what I get to do. In my capacity as Vice President of International Business Development at Estee Lauder, I travel approximately a quarter of the time to work with functional leaders and our general managers and markets globally on many of our company's strategic initiatives. I've traveled to over 40 countries in my career, and just so you know, I've accumulated over 2 million air miles, which makes me very popular with friends and family. Now, clearly I love traveling, but I do know that this way of life isn't for everyone. Of course, what makes my skills transferable comes from what I learned at Michigan Tech. It is about problem solving, and that applies to any type of job. I learned how to break down a problem into manageable pieces and create actions to close gaps. It's a skill that crosses industries, functions, borders, and I learned it here. For many of you, the path ahead is still up in the air, and that's fine. Some people will say you need to map out the next 10 years of your career. Others, like me, were more opportunistic and took advantage of situations as they presented themselves. I knew I wanted my MBA, and I left my job to pursue it full-time. But from there, I was open to explore new opportunities. And to that end, early on, after graduating from Columbia Business School, I joined a general management consulting firm, a field considered a profession for people who didn't know what they wanted to do. And that was after graduate school. But consulting provided a huge learning platform. I gained a lot of knowledge from the different projects I had, and then I moved on. And who would have guessed I would spend 2 years living in China? It would not have made a 5 or 10-year plan of mine, but it was a great experience and played a large part in the role that I have today. So message 1 is to think about what you really like to do and you're good at, and don't be afraid to take a chance. The interesting thing is that I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up. But I have a lot more data points in my portfolio and a good sense of what I like and what I don't like, and that helps direct my choices. But the choices never end, and hopefully you'll be asked to take on new roles and opportunities throughout your career. And now to message 2. I am looking at a graduating class full of exceptionally bright people. Whether you're an engineer, a forester, a business school graduate, a computer science major, or graduating with any other major, you're ahead of the pack. However, be careful not to overplay your hand because you don't know everything yet, and you'll be taking on positions where you may know very little. The positive side is that you aren't expected to know it all, and it's your time to ask questions and learn from others. At Estee Lauder, we say your learning agility is a leadership competency. In plain English, it means that your ability to learn new skills quickly is really critical. Your Michigan Tech education has given you the foundation, teaching you how to think, how to approach situations, and how to conduct analyses. But there's so much more. In my very first job out of tech, I worked at Amway as a process development engineer. The people who taught me the most were the processing and packaging teams in the plants. My job was scaling up products for manufacturing. Some of these folks had worked in the factory for 20 or 30 years, and some had no college education, but their experience and input was invaluable to me. So I urge you, absorb everything you can from others and know that you're not expected to know it all. The last piece of advice is about how you work with teams. When you get into your new roles, every company will have a form of goals and objectives for which your performance is rated. And here I want to share a few thoughts that I think will help you in your life and in your career and that have helped me. The first is to always try to exceed expectations. I was recently at a leadership session with Jeffrey Katzenberg, the chairman of DreamWorks New Media. And when he was asked what made him successful, his response was simply, he always tried to exceed expectations. So especially when you're just getting started and building credibility, do more than deliver what was asked. Think beyond the question and look for ways to really have an impact. It's also not just about what you deliver, it's how you deliver it. If delivering your objective requires stepping on other people or excluding others, it's not successful in my view. Collaborating with your colleagues to achieve results will be much more effective in the long term, and please give credit where credit is due. The next part I consider crucial advice is to listen to others and understand different points of view. One thing I was taught in a multicultural training is that we all interpret things differently. So 2 of you can receive the same data but come to a different conclusion, because our brains take the information, they process it against our own experience, and draw a conclusion based on this. Because we all come from different places, where we grew up, where we went to school, the friends we have, and our families, we will interpret things differently. We need to try to be empathetic to different points of view, a benefit both professionally and personally. So the takeaway from message 3 is to try to do more than you're asked, listen to others carefully, and always work in a collaborative way. Now, one final item I need to mention is the issue of balancing work and family life, and that's definitely not going to be easy as technology continues to make our lives not 9 to 5, 5 days a week, but 24/7. You're heading into a very competitive marketplace in a dynamic and fast-changing world, but no one said life was going to be easy, and I hate to use that cliche, but it's the truth. We know you're the future, and with your phenomenal education, we are counting on you to be the minds that create personal flying vehicles or cure diseases or invent new technologies and products that we just can't live without. This must be pretty scary stuff to think about as you sit on your chair waiting to graduate. But you can probably do anything you choose, and it's incumbent on you to make a difference, and also to give back to those who need help. When you start out, create a network. Pick an informal mentor. I have mentored many people, and I have been mentored by many. It adds such value to someone just getting started, and I've certainly learned from those around me. So you've got a lot to do, and it's time to get started. But before I close, I have one favor to ask. I'm trying to master social media in my new job. Talk about learning agility. In my new job, we need to win new consumers using all forms of social media, and I'm still quite a newbie. So right now, it's probably the first time any commencement speaker has done this, I really want to capture this special moment doing an USSI, or as my young colleagues at Estee Lauder in Singapore call it, a Wi-Fi, and I want it with all your smiling faces behind me. So I can post it on Instagram with hashtag MTUgrad and hashtag GoHuskies. So give me 1 second. I am going to do it. Are you ready? Okay. Yes. So thank you for letting me pretend I'm a millennial with you. I needed that. And thank you again for inviting me to be here. I do hope today's messages will resonate, or that you'll be able to take at least one of my heartfelt life lessons with you, even if you were out partying last night and a little bit tired today. I do know that each of you will do amazing things, and you're going to do it in your own way. So congratulations again to the class of 2017, and bravo.
Paula, I think there was a person about 6 rows back here that wasn't smiling. You might want to do that again. Thanks, Paula. We are very pleased to recognize Paula for her many accomplishments. Beyond Paula's impressive professional accomplishments, she has consistently been involved in various charitable activities and supports women in business, including junior achievement, disaster relief activities, mentoring junior staff members, and leading diversity programs aimed at recruiting and retaining women. We are grateful for Paula's leadership and contributions, as well as her support of Michigan Tech through the years. We salute her and award her an honorary Doctor of Philosophy degree.
You've heard enough now from me, but I just want to say how humbled and grateful I am for this honor. I really love being here, so thank you very much.